Welcome to the last part of this enamel practical session. As you remember, we have our outline. We have discussed all of the outline terms, and we reached to the enamel surface, which is composed of all the features we can see on the enamel surface and the cemento-enamel junction. Going back to this beautiful tooth, to remember that we discussed the dentino-enamel junction, all the features that we can see on the dentino-enamel junction, all the features we can see in the bulk of the enamel, the striations, and now we are going to talk about the enamel surface. The enamel surface and where the enamel actually meets the cementum. Remember the enamel stria we talked about in the last part. These enamel stria can be seen on the surface of the enamel, but they are called perikymata. When we have a section of it under electron microscope in really high magnification, we can see that a perikymata consists of a ridge and a groove, an elevation and a depression, a perikymata bridge and a perikymata groove. Remember when we talked about the ameloblasts and how do they finish their journey on the surface of the enamel? When they die, they keep these small dots on the surface, on the perikymata ridges and grooves. These are called the prism end markings. These are the places where the ameloblast sits at the end of the formation of enamel stage. Also, if we take a closer look by electron microscope on the surface of enamel, we can see these elevations on the surface of enamels. They are caused by some debris sitting on the surface and the ameloblast coming and cover it with secretion. They are called caps. These are small shells of enamel covering some kinds of debris, and with time they actually go out. The really thin small layers of enamel covering the debris are dissolved after some time, and the debris go out, leaving these round holes in the enamel called focal holes. Another feature can be seen on the surface of enamel. It's larger, of course, than the focal holes and the caps and prism end markings. It's bigger. Go back to the theoretical section. Is when the crystals, some crystals of hydroxyapatite crystals goes out of the surface together in a big group like this. These are called enamel brocks or brachs. There is no significance for these features. They are not so important. The last feature we are going to discuss that we can see on the enamel surface is when the cementum meets the enamel in what's called the cemento-enamel junction. This junction is going to be discussed again and in more details in the cementum lectures, but briefly we can say that the enamel and cementum meets in three different patterns. So the first pattern, and we have discussed that in the lecture, so please go back and revise. The first kind is when the enamel and the cementum meets end to end. The other one is when the cementum covers the enamel. The third one is when there is a gap between the enamel and the cementum. And the last relationship, I couldn't find a photo of it, when the enamel covers the cementum. It's very, very rare. Remember also that we talked about sometimes we can see on the surface of the tooth some droplets of enamel in the furcation of posterior teeth. It's called enamel pearl. It's caused because the sheath that forms the enamel during natal life could leave some of the cells in this position in the furcation between the roots, where they develop and differentiate and secrete enamel. The more information in the theoretical part, but this is how the enamel pearl looks like on the surface of the tooth. They are harmless and there is no risk of having them. So by this part we have ended the practical session of enamel histology. I hope you liked it. please go see all the videos I have added to the material, and try to solve all the quizzes and play all the games that are in the course, so you will have better understanding of all the sections we have actually discussed. Thank you, and till next time.